I think we'll run for about 40 minutes. And then we'll have Q&A at the end for 15. So, if you want to hang around, ask any questions about the journey generally, anything I'm working on currently, how it's going with just about getting the first product ready, then we've got that space there. I'm, sharing everything, right? Being as transparent as possible. So if you're curious or got very specific questions, that's going to be the time to ask. Good. So I'm just going to zoom out and as I said, we will jump in. So head over to Miro if you haven't already. I'm going to start with a bit of context and introduction. If you're new to what I've been doing with this 12 startups in 12 months journey, I'll then do an exercise where basically auditing the current landing page. Second exercise is breaking down my go-to-market strategy. So seeing what have I got planned for launch next week, getting some input from you all there as well. And then finally, as I said, we'll wrap up with Q&A. So what is the expected outcome today? There's two specific things. Why am I doing these sessions? And I think it's, from my perspective, I need to use my time extremely carefully because I'm balancing running Product MBA at the moment, plus building, plus needing to think about launch and distribution of product, plus coming up with product ideas. Like I'm going to start on the next product in 10 days. So there's a lot going on, and I've had to really be sort of extremely careful with how I'm spending my time. So when I was thinking about this session, I said, okay, what's actually going to be super valuable? First thing is positioning the offer effectively to the target audience. I've got lots of experience like launching products, particularly like putting landing pages together. Problem that I'm finding is that because I'm in sort of build mode, getting that ability to zoom out has been quite difficult over the last week. So I really, need your help there as product people. Get your product veins. And then the second thing is just prepping some other experiments I haven't thought about around launch to try and get those first few paying customers for this new product. Now, what is that product? It's called Smart Updates. And I'm going to share just a 1.5 minute demo. Sorry, I have already shared that link. I'm going to share it again for you. You can also click it in Miro. I've just shared the direct YouTube link as well. So if everyone could just stop and watch that, I will play it here just so you can see it, or if anyone's watching the recording. I don't think it'll get the audio because it will go through my headphones, but that's fine. So I'm going to play the video, 1.5 minutes. If you want, just play along in the background yourselves here. In fact, I'll put subtitles if anyone is watching. Good. I'll pause it there. As I said, if you want, take a minute and just watch this in the background whilst we prep for the first exercise. Okay, just high level. If you've, for whatever reason, you can't find the link, you haven't watched it, can't be bothered, you're having your lunch in the background. What does Smart Updates do? Essentially, the core value proposition is saving somebody time creating this, right? Not having to manually write it. And secondly, the customizing to different stakeholders, so it's more engaging and more relevant. And that's my assumption, my hypothesis. What does it actually do? You input data, as you've seen, right? So audience and maybe some context. It's going to then ChatGPT 4, I'm using the API, is basically creating an outline of like, okay, here's the update we think you could use. You can then edit that. You could save it. You can duplicate it for another audience. You can then spit out a new AI generated piece of context, and also storing it and sharing it all in one place. Okay. So that's the sort of core value proposition of the product. Just want to see if there are any questions around that. Just high level, you're going to be able to go through the whole landing page and sort of see a bit more detail. So you will get a bit more. But anyone completely lost at this point? Have I been on mute for 15 minutes? Or relatively clear? Let's see, there'll be a bit of delay. I'll come back and see if questions come up. I think it's about a 30-second delay always with these. Good. Okay, so what are we going to do in this first exercise? I'd like everybody who can, willing, wants to get involved to come over to Miro if you haven't already. I'm just going to final time, just repost that link to the Miro board that we're all on. There it is on the comments. You probably have to scroll down to find it, unfortunately, but it's there in the comments. Good. What do I want us to do? I was going to do this in groups, but because it's a live stream, I'm not going to do it in groups. I'm going to do it as a collective. So, and I think there's about 13 people here. So perfect. Okay. What are we going to do? Specifically, this is the selfish exercise. I need help improving the copy and images specifically on this landing page to be as compelling as possible. Specific, what do we mean by compelling? This is something that the target market should look at and go, oh, wow, this sounds awesome. This sounds perfect for me. I've got to go and try it out. I'm so curious to find out. Target market specifically, we're looking at product managers who create regular product updates for their stakeholders. Probably in a larger company, right? It's not the 3 bullet point message you're going to send on Slack. It's probably going to be like a product requirements document, maybe 1-page, relatively detailed executive summary, right? Well, there's a lot of writing and input involved. Okay, so do bear that in mind, right? The who behind the product. Good. What am I going to do? I'm going to start a 5-minute timer. And I want you all to just go through this landing page. You can see I've just copied it across. Sorry, I've screenshotted it. The whole landing page with all of the sections down here. And I want you to just go through it and add. You're going to see those red cards on the right-hand side. If you look at my screen, red cards for comments and questions. What's confusing? What don't you understand? Maybe like an idea you have. Okay, so really just sort of getting some ideas and thoughts together. You're going to see some yellow cards, example, on the headline. These are questions that I've got that I'm not sure about how to answer effectively. Okay, so I'm going to start a 5-minute timer. I want you to just go through the whole landing page, look at those yellow Post-it notes, add your own thoughts. Sorry, so if you've got questions, thoughts, ideas, add those. The red and just add red cards on the relevant section. Say, for example, I'm doing right now. If sorry, I need to move these forward. Give me 1 second. That would confuse everybody. So let me just make sure these are visible. In fact, 1 second. Let me bring to front. Good. Okay, excellent. So add the red Post-it notes with your thoughts on any relevant section you have a comment. Say the header image, you go, no idea what it is. Add a comment saying not sure what not sure what this is meant to communicate, for example. Okay, if there's a section you like, you can add a thumbs up or just leave it blank. Okay, so first exercise is not about giving solutions. I think you should write this instead. It's just about comments and questions. Right, we should see a heat map around certain elements. If all's clear, I'm going to start a timer on Miro, and Miro have moved where the timer is. Give me 1 second. Get started already, and I will track down where they've put the timer. So 5 minutes, as I said, just to add any red cards, comments, questions, etc. Excellent. Yeah, someone's already got the idea. Awesome. I will track down the timer in the meantime. I'll do it on my watch for now, but yeah, I will tell you, let's say 45 minutes to go. Just 2 to 3 minutes to go for this exercise. So just recap if you just joined, just reviewing the landing page, adding any comments, thoughts, critiques. Be as honest and brutal as possible. I need all the help I can get, so nothing will be bad criticism. I will not take offense. Sorry, just 1 minute to go with this exercise. If you have joined late, what we're doing is just auditing the landing page. Really simple. Go through anything that's unclear. If you've got thoughts, ideas, questions, just add a red post-it note on there, as you can see the others doing right now. Just 1 more minute to go with that. Awesome. Okay, we'll pause that exercise there. Oh, I would love everyone to look at pricing. This Roy question. This is the homepage, not a marketing. Well, it's the same thing. This is a small. I'm not going to have more than a single page website. Okay, so this is basically everything you're going to find out about the product before you make a buying decision. Let's go on to the next exercise. What I'd like to do now, you're going to see those green cards. I'm just going to add a few more. I think we will use them. Great to see how interactive everyone's being with this. Green cards, suggested improvement. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to do let's do about 5 minutes again. And I'd like you to add specific suggestions or improvements. That could be, let's take the headline, create product updates in minutes. It might be a better headline that you have there. Okay, better unique value proposition. For the image, an idea that you have that could help me better. I can design, put things together. Okay, so I'm happy to go design something new if you think it's going to be valuable. Do some illustration kind of thing. part of what I'd love you to do. I might just add an extra. Actually, ignore that. Something about pricing. I'll do that after. Okay, so 5 minutes. Grab a green card. Well, grab as many green cards as you want and add ideas, specific suggestions. Okay, so I want very specific suggestions for this exercise. Wording, image ideas, etc. Again, Miro's apologies. Miro's timer has disappeared since I was last on Miro, so I will have to do it on my watch. 5-minute timer starting now. Just a reminder, if you've just joined, just auditing the landing page, adding specific suggestions for word choice, images, maybe even sections you think would really help convert people. So remember this. Who specifically is the audience? Remember who that audience is. Product managers who create regular product updates. If you're just listening in, I'm just zooming in to a few sections if you want to sort of follow along and look at a few of the ideas emerging. Awesome. Try to scroll down to the lower pages. Pricing would be interesting. The demo section, comparison section. If you could actually all move down to that already, just we've got 2 minutes to go. If everyone could add ideas for the why buy smart updates and the stop making boring updates section would be really helpful. Plus pricing if you have time. Just 1 minute to go. Just 1 minute to go. Good. If you just wrap up whatever you're writing, Just going to zoom out. Excellent. Okay. Good. Final thing I'd like us to do, I want to analyze the pricing. This is a real experiment from my side. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to do just a one minute, a bonus minute, and add so red cards for sort of critiques, questions, comments, and a green card if you have specific ideas that you think should be included. Okay. So specifically pricing section, I'm zoomed in on it right now. I'll bring in fact everyone over. And I'll start just a 1 minute timer, as I said. Any either green cards for ideas, red for sort of critiques or questions, things you think I should think about here. Again, specifically for the pricing section. I'm also thinking about doing a fixed price, i.e. no subscription. What do you think about that? Let's do one more minute for this exercise. Awesome. We'll pause that exercise there. Final thing before we move on to go-to-market strategy, I'd like everyone to just go to the right-hand side and you're going to see some voting dots. You're going to see some voting dots. What I'd like you to do, let's look only at the top section, the top gray section, right? What we call the heroes section. We've got the headline text, we've got the subheader, we've got that button. There will, in fact, by the way, be a watch demo button next to get started. And then we've got that image. I'd like you to place, let's do just 2 votes each. 2 votes each. I'd like you to place the votes on either in fact, let me change the color of them. So I was thinking of just voting on the green cards, but actually I think there's value in doing both. Right, I've just changed the color to purple. So what I'd like you to do is place 2 votes on any of the ideas. So this could be the red, like critiques, things to improve, or the green card, specific improvements. I'd like you to place, in fact, 3. Just take 3 votes each. Why not? Let's go crazy. 3 votes each to place on the thing that you think is most important. Could be, oh my God, I love that word choice. Great, you've got to have that, Henry. Or it could be, oh no, you haven't addressed this thing, and I think that's the most important thing. Okay, so 3 votes. We're going to do 2 minutes. So take your time, read through all of the ideas you can see in this top hero gray section, and place 2 votes on basically the cards that you think are most important to make this a success. Sorry, please vote specifically on add your vote next to the card that's been added, the red card or the green card. Just top right corner would be great. Again, read through all of them first, please. Good, 1 minute to go. If you can just start placing your voting dots. Do you take your time? You've got another minute there if you want to still read through them, still thinking. Just place them within the next minute. Awesome. Just final 10 seconds. Just place your votes if you haven't done so already, please. Final 10 seconds. Please place your votes. You don't have to place all three, by the way, so don't panic or rush. Just place however many you can. Awesome. Just place your votes if you haven't done so already. Excellent. As I said, there's a 30-second delay. So by the time you hear this, we'll move on. I think everyone would have placed their votes. Awesome. So we're going to park that exercise there. Again, just to be clear, why am I doing this? I could do things like put copy through ChatGPT and see, give me some nice ideas. And I have done that, right, to audit sort of my own ideas. But I want to get input from you. I'm so zoomed into this product at the moment, building bug fixes, etc., that I just wanted a bit of external input, particularly from people that, many of you will be in the target audience. So think of kind of language, ideas, images that could really resonate here. Awesome. Let's park that exercise there. And we're going to go on to the second one. This one's going to be, final thing. Why? There's some really interesting comments like on pricing. Why is there not a free trial or a free tier? Loads of votes, and everyone goes, yeah, oh my God, every product does that. As a bootstrapper, if we're looking at, if basically money comes out of my pocket for this product, it's going to cost me, maybe up to even 50 cents a month per user because of the API calls. So I can't afford to do free because only 1 to 3% of users will convert to paid. So I'm taking the hit in terms of fewer people are obviously going to go and sign up and pay for it. But what it means is that there's guaranteed revenue there. And also you're not avoiding that tough question of, can we actually make money? Can we get to profitability early? We could have hundreds of users, thousands, millions of users. If we cannot make money from the product, we're done. And many premium products, think of how many apps like meditation apps struggle because of this, okay, and ultimately fail. So I want to deal with these kind of questions up front. So there are a few little nuances of bootstrapping that, for example, with pricing, that make me make different strategic decisions with the product. Similarly, on this topic with go-to-market strategy, right? Unfortunately, without raising $1 million, we can't just throw money at Facebook adverts. And if anything, I think it is a good thing to launch your product with zero budget or very limited budget, because it forces you to be smart about it. So I want to bring everyone over to the next exercise. And specifically, what are we going to be doing here for the next, really just, I think, 10, 15 minutes maximum? I'm going to just go through, present the current go-to-market strategy. Not that complex. Just talk you through what I'm going to be doing with smart updates. as a group, what I want us to do is then generate ideas for basically anything I'm missing, any other experiments I could run, ideas, input to get more relevant website visitors during launch week, with the goal, obviously, with a good landing page of trying to then convert them to users and ultimately customers as the next step. So we're going to generate ideas. We're then going to vote on those ideas so that I have, a sense of what we think might be a good, most experiment with the best chance of success. Let's say we never know what's going to work or not, and most experiments will fail. So you are going to see my lovely hand-drawn launch. This is it, by the way. I've got notes and things in different places. This is as detailed as it gets, because when you're working by yourself, you obviously don't have to do stakeholder alignment. So as long as you are clear, do it on paper, post-it notes, whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, so what is the launch strategy? Essentially, if you look at the red cards on the left, there are 4 things that I'm doing at the moment. The first thing that I'm doing early on, really over the last month, deliberately signaling to followers, hey, this product is coming out at some point within the next 30 days. That's through the newsletter. It's on LinkedIn. It is, conversations I'm having with people to basically signal, hey, this product's coming out, prepare yourselves, right, to check it out, potentially buy it if it's really relevant for you, for example. Karen, how many people in the newsletter? 3,800. And that's been built mainly through Product MBA over the last 4 or 5 years. There's a post on the newsletter. If you're not on it, by the way, subscribe. You can follow the journey. I posted 2-3 weeks ago the launch post for this 12 startups in 12 months about why specifically I'm building products for product people, distribution, trying to solve that question. So go through the newsletter there. So what am I doing? I'm signaling to followers saying this thing's coming, right? Bit of hype. Then what I'm doing, 3 specific things I'll be focused on next week. The first one is Product Hunt. Product Hunt is if you're not aware, a platform for posting new products. There is an art and a science to getting lots of votes, getting lots of visibility, and getting this sort of the famed, product of the day stamp, which gives you approval, it gives you backlinks, and does get you a lot of potential users as well. So there's, I'll be sharing a bit more about that on the webinar I'm doing next week, but essentially a lot of prep I'm doing around how to sort of build hype there, the posting, timings of those postings, how I bring in my audience from different ways. The second thing is going to be the newsletter. So on Friday, I will be talking about the launch next week. And then on Wednesday, I will share another email saying, hey, the product's launched. Here's the value prop. Go get it, essentially. Okay, so leveraging the audience there. And thirdly, LinkedIn. So I've got 15,000 followers on LinkedIn. It's a vanity metric, right? As ultimately, it doesn't matter how many. But I'm trying to do a really nice, compelling event next Wednesday called How to Build and Launch a Startup in 18 days, which is the amount of days I've actually worked in it over the last 25 days or so. So I've got an event there. I've got the only automation I ever use is event automation invite. So I invite all of my contacts. I don't feel that spammy. It's not annoying like a direct message. I'll be, commenting, messaging people directly to just really get the word out, to get eyes on, get some votes, get a bit of hype around the Product Hunt update as a sort of the focal point, but also using the newsletter as a way to get direct leads and potentially sales. Okay. So that's really what's happening. These are the sort of 4 key things that I've been focused on. Now, remember, my goal with this product is not, fingers crossed, it just explodes in popularity straight away. That's a goal, but it's statistically unrealistic. We're unlikely to get this sort of signs of product market fit really early. Maybe 1 in 10 products even gets to profitability. So specific goal I'm looking for with this is, can I get to $500 of revenue within the first month of this product launching, so that I can say, yeah, there's signal here, right? People are actually interested, they're willing to pay for it. Then I can say I could keep investing time in this in the background to keep improving it, and hopefully, improve it enough so you start getting a little bit of that virtuous cycle, right? That the product-led growth, right? People using it, inviting people, them coming in, paying for it, etc. So that's what's going on currently. Really simple exercise. I'd like you to come up with any other ways that you think I could get more people to this product. That might be, for example, a LinkedIn post idea. It might be, oh my God, Henry, you're missing this like really obvious channel, like indie hackers. Any specific experiment that you think I could run that would help me ultimately get more visitors and more customers. So let's, sorry, a question pop up before we jump in. Yulia, we had 200 users who applied to the newsletter and only one of them bought something. Stats are super low. That does not surprise me. Yeah. So 4,000 users, 4,000 on the newsletter. I'd hope we get a couple, but ultimately it comes also down to how compelling the product is and how it's packaged. And that we just don't know until it's out there. So let's jump into this exercise. I'm going to start let's do just a sort of 3-4 minute timer for this. Try and get 2-3 experiments down. Basically, specific things you think I could do to improve this go-to-market strategy. Again, it could be what I'm currently doing, improvements, or completely new ideas as well. Nice ideas posted as comments. Usually I'm just going to add them to the board. Awesome. So 3-minute timer for this exercise. The more creative, the better, by the way. And quality does come through quantity. So just get loads of ideas down and we'll see which ones seem most valuable. We'll also try and think of the constraint of bootstrapping. So it's time, very limited on time, plus no budget. Just 1 minute to go for this. Try and get, again, any ideas, however silly you think they sound, really valuable to sort of help me push my thinking. Yeah. Final prompt as we go into the last minute. Also, what can be done within a week? Awesome. Just final sort of 10 seconds for that. Just wrap up whatever you're writing. Excellent. Let's pause it there. I was going to do a voting exercise, but I think I'm going to not do that, just to make sure we've got time for Q&A. And with these as well, ultimately it comes down to me doing a bit of prioritization analysis to see what's realistic. So I said I need to just go away and do that myself. And I won't bore you with that. Things like time constraints in terms of time commitment, but also like what's realistic within getting on a podcast within a week and getting that published, for example. Good. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Someone's added some ideas on this board. That's completely fine as well. I'm just going to move them across just so I remember to sorry, being a bit slow. I'll do it after. Just remember to look at all of them. There we go. Okay, great. Okay, I'll ignore that. Sorry, it's freezing. Good. We'll wrap up there for the core part of today. So, in terms of what we're doing, and just again to make this as actionable as possible. So, I've done this stuff before, right? Of landing pages, launch it, different channels, but it is very hard when you are a solopreneur to get that outside perspective at times. And today I thought was a really good opportunity to get that input from you all, and also for you to see that, how do you launch a bootstrap business? And secondly, part of that, just seeing it's not that complicated. Whether it works or not is a whole different question. And the first product, we'll see what happens. My goal really is just to get something out, get that momentum with the first one, and then by product 2, 3, 4, have a really nice refined process. So I'm sort of detaching myself from the outcome. Maybe it's a bit of ego protection there as well, and to keep momentum up. But so yeah, I wanted, as I said, just to make sure that you could sort of see how I'm approaching this. Next Wednesday, by the way, if you can join that webinar, I'm going to go super detailed into that whole process of not just launching and planning, but like how did I actually build the product. And what I want to do now, just Q&A. So if you've got any questions about the whole journey, anything at all, I will be completely transparent about Smart Updates, the product itself, which, by the way, you can sign up to the waiting list at smartupdate.es. I'm just going to put I'm going to put a couple of links here so you can join those. Sorry, go check it out. Let me just add the right link. Please do join the newsletter. It's very hard to know what is valuable or not, and that is the best way to follow the journey. So check that out. I'm just going to share a link for that as well. And do you post any questions on the chat? You could put them on the Q&A as a card as well. I'll answer any questions that I see. You can also subscribe to the YouTube. I'm going to start posting a lot more video content as well, so please do that. Any questions? Let's see what we've got coming through. Good, Alan. Sign up for all of these things. Excellent. Great, Rusty. If you're not in the newsletter, do go on there. It's the best way to follow the journey, and I go quite detailed every week. It takes me good half day to write each weekly newsletter. Any questions from this session? Am I aware there'll be a slight delay? Awesome. Here we go. Question on the Miro. Most important question: do your users save money, or do they get money if you tell them how to get it with your product? They will. Do you save money? Understood. Yeah, good. This is an interesting and difficult one in this case. Ultimately, they're saving time. Now, that saves the company money, but not them specifically, unless they are, say, a consultant or a freelancer. So my hypothesis here, which is why I'm really not sure whether the people will pay for it, is product managers earn enough money and are so busy, so time poor, that they are willing to spend potentially some of their own money to get a few extra hours back per week. Now, is that going to work? I'm not sure. So it's not a clear cut It's not a clear cut, financial decision for them. It's not buy this thing, it's going to save you 50 euros a month, for example. So we'll see. And you're right, actually, that is something I want to look at more in future. Adam, very good question. I missed the first session. How did you validate this was a real user need? So 2 weeks ago, I talked about why I chose this specific problem. I actually looked at building something in this space about a year ago and did the discovery work then around need. Product updates take up to like 8 hours a week for some product managers, and they have to do weekly. Some people do them daily. And it's really manual. You have to collect loads of data. You have to think about what you're going to write. You have to do the writing. So I did a lot of validation work there. Why am I, which I probably should have talked about more, but with the first product, why am I not strictly following my process of, for example, putting an MVO out on a landing page day one, which I will be doing in future products. I only did it last week. First reason is I wanted to build this reusable structure in the Bubble code base so that basically I have templates that I can copy and paste for each project. So that there's a lot of upfront work with this first product. Second thing, I wanted just to get a whole product lifecycle out the door to go, okay, yeah, I can do it under 30 days and here's how. And I've been tracking. I can even, I won't share yet because it's a bit incomplete, but I will next Wednesday, like exactly my checklist to-do list for each stage. So rather than being obsessed with the outcome of is this product going to work, it's just like just go through the process, follow the process, trust it. Great, one rep done. Now I can start thinking, okay, let's be a bit more careful about the cards I want to place. I've got 11 left over the next year. How do I choose quite carefully? So don't look at my discovery process for this is not great. Ignore that. Look at what I'm going to do with product 2 and 3, particularly in the first 10 days of that cycle. Some exciting stuff, some nice tactics and tips I'll be sharing with the newsletter. Awesome. I'm just going to highlight the ones I've answered. What did you use to build landing page and product? Yeah, I'm using Bubble. I won't talk about it today just because I'm going to go granular on Wednesday. If you can join the live session, great. You'll see an event on my page, hopefully. If not, I will share the recording, so you can just skip through. I'm going to go really granular on how I built it, like zoomed out. Here's the sort of key steps, features, and then specifically in Bubble, like how I set everything up to be as reusable as possible whilst moving quickly. It's Bubble.io, and it's then 8 separate API integrations with Stripe and OpenAI, essentially. For something quick like this, how much work is needed to build persona, profile, and related jobs to be done? I mean, when you're working for yourself, am I sitting down and it's a tough one because in this case, I haven't written anything down because in this case, it's an audience I've served through 2 different businesses over the last 5 years, and I'm a product person myself. So I wouldn't say I made the assumption that I know what they want because that's not true. But again, I did the discovery work before, mapped it out. I think, however, that this kind of defining persona, jobs to be done is really important. Having just a document being this is who the persona is. I don't think it should take long at all. Like an hour maximum. But then obviously you do your discovery calls, speak to people, put it through things like ChatGPT, like user persona simulators are actually quite good. Right? They're generally quite accurate if you're prompting relatively detailed in your prompting. But you should move quickly, right? But why is that important? Move quickly because you don't know anything until you get the product out there. Like, what do they actually want until they're on the buy page? Is you want to get to that as quickly as possible. Obviously, try and improve your thinking, but that's the outcome. Where's the recording for the first session? I didn't record it because I was trying to do it in Google Meets. That's why I've actually switched over. We lose that interactiveness of a live call. But middle of the workday, obviously it's hard to join. So I have just the Miro board for that, which I did share with the last newsletter. Okay, so that'll be on Friday's newsletter. Last couple of questions before we wrap up. What products have you looked at before identifying the gap in this specific space? Yeah, it's this. Part of me regrets tackling product updates because you've got, okay, what are existing solution? It's PowerPoint, it's Google Docs, but also you've got the cultural habits. Like a company usually has a specific way they like to do updates, like email or Slack. They probably have a template of some type. Individuals then have their own process, particularly the more senior. So they've got a Google Doc with like 7 headers that they just then go and fill in the information. And also I'm aware that I'm going to be missing what could be the crucial feature, which is ideally I'm able to pull info from Slack, Jira, and or email to pull in relevant info over the last week or month. So you don't have to like manually add anything. Right, it's pulling in, even data could bring in accurate data. Like, what's our retention metric over the last week? Great, bang, pull it in, easy. Difficult. So I'm not doing that, and my assumption is that if it saves them enough time, people are going to pay for it already. 2-3 hours a week is a huge amount of time for a busy product manager. Is that going to work? I don't know. Maybe it's not. So I will find out next week. As will you if you join the webinar on Wednesday. Is it specifically aimed at PMs and enterprise-sized companies? Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm not sure. I think that's where the value is. I think that's if somebody's going to pay for it, it's going to be that group. It's not going to be the senior PM who just has a nice, pretty slick process for doing this already. So we'll see. Find out next week. How much time is needed for market and competitor research for Bootstrap products? I'm not a massive believer in, competitive research has a time and place. What do you want to do? You want to look for an underserved market. Where is there a frustration that's not being served? I always think Superhuman is a really good example. If you looked at the email market and said, we're going to build an email app, you go, that's freaking mental, because Gmail, it's embedded in most companies. It's pretty cheap. It's like $5, $6, $7 or so a month. It's tied to Google Doc. There's all this value stack, right? Stack of value with loads of different Google products, or Microsoft products as well. However, they just said, look, but people are frustrated by email. They get too many emails. It takes up too much time. So we're just going to be laser focused on that frustration and go after it. So in that case, you go, you have to look at competition. So, okay, well, what did Gmail do well? It's like, storage, speed, these kind of things. But what can we do really well and really stand out on?